Anybody coming in?
Not yet.
Okay.
I've got an eye on it.
Yes, we do. Okey doke. All right, everybody all set with the agenda?
Yep.
Any changes? Okay. Since this is such a cordial group, I will no longer read the preamble.
Okay.
Righty.
We're such a good group.
Yes, unless we decide that we need to go back to them. I'm so used to dealing with people who are not as cordial as we are here,
Oh,
so I appreciate that.
my goodness.
Okay, minutes from last meeting?
Move to accept.
Second,
All those in favor?
Aye.
aye.
Okay, approved. All those against? Okay. All right, treasurer's report. And I assume that we haven't closed the books yet, right?
No, it's a preliminary
Okay,
that the town put out. And that preliminary showed that within our general appropriation account, we have $18,119 remaining in our 2024 budget, of which I am expecting, we will be having a payroll adjustment. We have, the last payroll paid was June 20th. The next payroll is July 4th, I believe, Thursday, every 2 weeks. So between June 20th and June 30th, we have payroll that gets paid in July. What we do every year is we make an accrual adjustment that just adjusts to reflect that June payroll in the June pay period.
okay.
That's what that payroll adjustment is.
Okay.
So I don't know how much that's gonna be, but it's gonna be somewhere between 5 and 9. And the balances that are left over there, say we do end up with 10, 13 even. In the end of year balance not spent, all makes sense. That are there. I don't
And
know
that
if you'd
goes
like to
back to
go
the
over.
town, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep, general appropriation goes back to. Under grants, we only had a little bit of activity, and that was the $691 paid to the kitchen coordinator out of the formula grant. So that's started, which is good.
Yes, I'm sorry. I just want to say Paul is here, but he's not on yet. He asked not to be his face to be on there, but he is here. Paul, can you
right.
hear us? I'm gonna try this, excuse me, one more time.
Mhm.
Vote to panelist, he declined. He's here. Oh, he'll be rejoining as a okay, he's in and out. I just wanted you to know he's present.
Okay.
Paul.
There he is.
Hi, Paul. Thank you. Thank you very much. Good morning.
Good morning. So we're skipping right to revolving fund. Did you want to hear anything about the general appropriation? We have a preliminary town report that reflects 18,000 approximately unspent in our 2024 appropriation, but we are anticipating a payroll accrual for the time frame between, I guess June 20th was the last payday, and June 30th, which was paid in July. So every year we see that accrual adjustment. I expect she'll do it. She may consider it immaterial or not do it, but next meeting, I will discuss any changes that did come through and what the final number is. Grants was just one item spent out of the formula grant for salary for the kitchen coordinator, $691. Revolving fund, we had 6,000 in expenses, which is about $3,000 more than we typically spend in the revolving fund. So we end up with a $2,500 deficit. Thank you very much. But that $3,000 represents encumbrances that were booked at the end of June. Typical, they're all for instructors. So I suspect that's the payroll adjustment for the instructors that we're anticipating to see in the general appropriation account that catches them up through June 30th. So that's why there's that big jump in expenses. Gift donations, small, transport receipts and expenses are primarily for the social worker. And I think that does it for overview. We continue to have 33,423 in the unrestricted gift fund balances. And as I said, any changes in the final report, we'll discuss at our next meeting if it's anything significant.
Good.
I've been in touch with Corey. I have a double check and Megan to make sure everything's in line where it should be multiple times. And yes,
Right,
looks good.
does. Great.
Any question? All those in favor of accepting the treasurer's report?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Director's report.
Okay, so Bob just sent me an email. He was gonna join us today, but unfortunately he has to attend a funeral. So he just sent me an email with an update on the vehicles. So we have the Honda Odyssey and it's in
Yeah.
use. It's really neat.
It's here?
Yeah,
wow.
yeah. It rapid fire, it's on the road. We've been using it.
Terrific.
It's great. It's great. So, it was placed into service as a 7/2, July 2nd. The total cost to the town was $10,174. The trade-in of the 2019 Transit 150 was $32,000. Okay. Then he goes on about an update about the Trans 5350 with the high roof that we're expecting. The order is to be placed this week. Michelle, our assistant town manager, is using the state bid Colonial Motor Group. She's going through them.
Those are the same people that bought the other van?
No, Honda out of,
Oh,
yeah, but yes. The bid price is $53,976. Expected delivery is 12 to 16 weeks on this one.
We're looking at, probably getting it in October. And then when we do get it, whatever outfitting we have to do to it would probably take another 4 weeks. So
Yeah.
you're looking at probably November before we start using it.
Then he goes on about the 2019 Transit 150 van. Michelle is beginning the process of selling the remaining van this week. And the expected price for that is $33,000, which is just fantastic. And he said, please ask me if you have any questions. So that's the van update. We're very happy with the Odyssey. It's a great addition to the fleet.
Now, do we have to handle any of the money from these trade-ins or these sales? does
Michelle,
the town do that?
yeah, the
Okay.
town, Michelle is handling,
Good.
handling all that,
good.
thankfully.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot going on there,
Yeah,
a lot
right.
with the vehicles. Here comes, Tina, so.
Yeah, we're,
Along with the vehicles, did Bob say anything about, whoops, locked her out?
Sometimes that sticks with the humidity, so the other, I would go out, but, oh, maybe not. There
There
we
we
go,
are.
sorry, yeah. Welcome.
Next time, just smash it.
Entrance. Oh.
Now,
Hi.
as far as Bob had talked before about maintenance on the vans and keeping proper records,
Mhm.
are we square on all of that?
Yes, we have
He's gonna
developed,
do
we've
that?
developed a spreadsheet.
Okay.
like, and it's gonna encompass, when the normal maintenance take place, so forth. We are starting to use that,
Okay.
yeah. It's a little bit up in the air right now. If we want to get all the vehicles, we
Lined
do,
up.
yeah, lined up and put them all on
Yeah.
one. So now they're individual sheets, but we are tracking that. I know that is something that Paul had asked us to do to better track. We were always keeping the receipts in a book, but we want it all on one page.
No,
so
correct.
right, the caveat to getting the other van for only a 20% deposit from the state is requiring us to report. I don't know if it's going to be monthly or quarterly.
Monthly.
You-
Yeah.
Monthly, yeah, on that van. So when I talked to Bob about it, I recommended that if we're going to go through the work to do it for one van, we might as well set it up to start tracking all of the vehicles. So that we can identify, the maintenance and tire rotation, brakes, that type of stuff.
Good.
Okay.
And one thing that we do have a line item in our budget for vehicles that we usually use for like repair. I don't know, Elaine, if that's like $2,500 a year or something, or 5,000 a year. I forget what the line item is.
It
For
is about
gas.
that. Well, we have a separate one for gas and diesel, which is $2,500. And
Yep.
vehicle maintenance is $3,000.
Okay. The reason why I ask is, since the Transit 350 isn't going to come on board until probably November, the other two white vans are going to be sold soon. They have an offer for both of them. So it's a matter of getting through the process. So we're going to take and keep, as we voted to, the old wheelchair van till the new one comes in. So that'll be our backup van. So any additional maintenance needs to be done, it's going to be done to that old wheelchair van, is my guess. So we just want to make sure that there's money in our line item budget for maintenance.
Oh, there is
Yeah.
going,
Yeah.
we're starting the new fiscal year, obviously, and so it's been replenished.
It stayed at $3,000
Yeah, we did,
till 25.
we looked at maybe raising it a little bit, found we didn't need to, especially with the newer vans coming in under warranty, so. We should be okay with that. Okay. Did you have a question before, another question before I go on?
all
Okay,
set.
great. The Father's Day cookout was a success. We had over 70 guests. Kevin Perry from our town of Cohasset Communications Specialist was here to film it. I haven't seen that yet. He also did some interviews. Jim, thank you for volunteering to interview. We expect the videos of the interviews to be completed shortly, and I'll share them with everybody. They're gonna go on the town website and be a promotion for CAA of what we do. Our new kitchen coordinator, Joan Gallagher, is finishing her first month at CAA. She is a great addition. She really
Oh,
is.
good.
Don't you think?
If she was any better, she'd be twins.
She's very easygoing. She's spending this time to just get to know the different volunteer chefs, their styles. She's highly skilled, but she's not intrusive in her, so she just kind of helps as needed. We will be kicking up our large food events, having her do the desserts because she's a pastry chef, in addition to every other kind of chef, and really utilizing her for possibly a cooking class. So, yeah, so, yeah, we've always wanted to do that. It's very expensive for cooking classes, the ones we've researched, so she's willing to help out we're training her willingly as a backup Meals on Wheels packer. I'm in here anyway, she says, so she is retired. So this is a perfect part-time job for her. She lives in Hull. She loves it so far. All is good.
It's a little too good. I'm afraid I'm gonna come in and say,
Caveat.
oh, Joan left.
Oh, no.
No, but she said, no, she's not going anywhere. She seems to like it.
What are her hours?
She works Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday from 9 to 2. So she's 15 hours a week, and she has some flexibility if we have to, for our Thanksgiving event. She has flexibility there. Again, she is retired, so she's all is going really well. So yeah, if you
Great.
haven't met her yet, be sure to say hello.
Yes.
She has got some stories.
Doesn't she? And she knows everybody.
I love it.
Carlton.
Oh, wow.
Of course, everywhere. Every
Tosca.
restaurant you can think of.
Yep. Yeah.
She worked for Rebecca, Rebecca's Cafe, 30 years. She's got a lot of experience. She's terrific.
Nice.
Yes. So that's great.
Warts though on her back or something.
Everybody does.
There's some, so Glenn reached out to me, last week. The start of the pergola project has been postponed, to the week of August 5th. There was due to delays in materials shipment that then it pushed the, contractor off a little bit. But, that's August 5th will be here before we know it. He was concerned if I had anything planned outside. We do not. We've left that area open.
And did you submit for the reimbursement of the 12,500?
I did. I checked, I double checked, it was
Yep.
received, I checked with Megan. No,
Any questions on it?
nope, not so. Email, stating it was received. And there was some reporting that I wasn't familiar with, so I made sure it was done correctly, let everybody know it was my first time, no issues yet. So,
Great.
okay,
When do we expect the completion?
that he said it should, Paul, am I correct that he said it shouldn't take long, 2 weeks? About
Yeah,
2
it's
weeks?
about 2 weeks or so. Yeah.
Which is great.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
last,
once,
sorry.
once,
Go ahead,
once,
Paul.
once it's, once it's constructed and up, you know, we as a board have the month of August off, but certainly, I know, we have two people on the committee, subcommittee for that pergola to start, you know, be able to take some measurements and get some ideas from some of these awning companies as to what you can do and, you know, go out a couple of times to see, you know, when the sun is there or not there, that type of thing. And kind of move forward with what are we going to do with it once it's there? You know, what are we going to be using
Go
chairs
shop.
and tables, or are we going to, you know, have fold up
On
chairs?
Well, what about the tables and chairs we have?
Well, they are on the older end. Did you notice we have two now out by the bocce court?
Yeah.
Okay, so that leaves us with four more, and we do have to paint them every year. They are kind of beat up along with the umbrellas. We do have
The
some,
ones outside are great.
because we paint.
Those are the best.
Yeah, they painted, you know, we do have the funds to purchase some furniture and awning and really put some thought into what we're gonna put out there. So I
Well, I
could
mean, I
use some
think the
help with
awning
that.
is something we should shoot for next spring. I don't know that we really need it beforehand. That'll give us plenty of time to see what we actually need and to look at different types, things like that.
We have
So
a subcommittee to handle that.
that's right. Oh,
Yeah, so-
okay.
Who knows
Well,
what
the other,
around time
So-
is anyway. but
Yeah.
Yeah.
but then if we could maybe have our September meeting at the pergola. Want to try that?
Bring
Outside?
your own
Yeah.
chair.
Well, I mean, if we've got some to use, I
Yeah,
don't know.
right, I don't, we,
Oh,
you
let's-
do all the
Yeah.
poly outside, Paul, you might have to be.
I'll be there in person. Did somebody say
Yeah.
mimosas or something like that?
I'm not gonna go that far.
Yeah.
I
So-
mean, just a thought, if it's
Yeah,
ready.
I
might
know,
be nice to try
once
it.
the, what's gonna be key is, you know, once this thing is built is, reconciling the expenses to find out what the balance is, of, you know, is it gonna be $25,000 or $30,000 balance once we're done? And that's the balance that'll be used for awnings first and then chairs and tables second.
Oh,
Um,
And
But that
is
would
it
be
too
great.
soon to start conversation about that awning, or do you prefer we wait until we get the,
I'd wait till it's up for two reasons. One is you'll be able to actually measure the actual size.
right?
And then two is, where is the sun? You know, you may want to only, you know, put shades on two sides of it instead of three sides of it, you know, I don't know.
Discussion for the September meeting.
Yeah.
At the last meeting, it was asked that to advertise our CEA board openings, so I reached out to Town Hall and Kevin Perry had already done that. On the town, there's a town Facebook page, there's a town website. Obviously that we all know, but there's also a town Facebook page that they've been using more now since he's been in place, so it is out there already. I don't know what kind of feedback they got, but I just wanted to revisit that with all of you.
Well,
I haven't, yeah.
I'm sorry, I talked to Tracy Connors and everybody who's had to re-up has. And our
supposed-
only new one is Bigley, David Bigley. To come in as our new associate member. That's all gonna be voted on tomorrow night. So we'll see what the outcome of that is, but there was nobody else. There was some talk of another person. There was no other applications for the seat. So,
I haven't seen any notice in the weekly, town update that comes out in an email
Yeah.
about the opening. Does,
I don't think that would go there. That's
Yeah.
more of,
okay,
what happened the last week and what's upcoming. That's more of an official thing I think they put on there. I don't know what's going on with our lights, but.
yeah.
Yeah. And that's a limited email. It's a really
Yes.
skeleton. I know I submit things every week and sometimes they get in, sometimes they don't, so. But I think David Bigley would be a great addition. I work really closely with him.
well, he uses the center quite a bit.
He does,
Yeah.
and if there's ever someone coming in that's new or needs to be familiarized with the men's group or bocce, I always introduce them to David first. He's very welcoming, he's very friendly. And I think he would be great. That's my 2 cents that you didn't ask for, but I'm thrilled he's applied. Okay, the new mailboxes are here. but we have both outgoing and ingoing. They're now covered and the mail carrier has been updated on the process. When you come to the front desk, they're a little bit to the right, only for space purposes. You'll see them, the two wooden boxes labeled in and out. So hopefully that'll help. It was a,
It's clear.
the instructions are clear, right? Which one's in, which one's out. And they're both covered, so.
Is it in 22 font?
Good one.
So in collaboration with Safe Harbor, we now have Narcan baskets, which are on the table near the coffee machine. But they're empty, it's empty now, they've all been taken. The Paul Pat Memorial Library and Rec are also offering these.
They're out as well, by the way.
So
At least
that's
the
good.
Library is.
So Bob Sylvia, I had asked him to arrange with a representative of the fire department to come and give us directions, even though in the nasal, there's these tiny, tiny instructions. Safe Harbor has the directions posted on Instagram. That does not work for our population. So Bob's gonna have someone come over because it's fentanyl strips. What do you do with those? Is that for testing? So there's just, I just want people to be comfortable
No,
with what
I
we're
agree.
offering.
Yeah.
So he's gonna work on that. There's a area mask, there's a Sharps container. I mean, I think the nasal spray itself is pretty self-explanatory. It's one quick, but it's the other stuff that I don't want people to be deterred from using it or taking one home because they don't know what all this stuff is. So, but I
These are available for people to take with them.
Yeah.
just take home,
Yeah.
yep, it take, I have here too. We're not immune to this, opioids and elders on
Well,
medication.
that Narcan's tricky because I know we had it in CERT and one of the things is that you hold it like this with two fingers and then you press the plunger with your thumb. And very often you hit the plunger before you're ready.
Mhm.
So,
Oh, okay.
yeah, so it does work to practice a bit. So, and hopefully, in a situation like that, you're hysterical to begin with, so.
Yeah.
Yes, no, the more knowledge, the better
Yeah.
with this type of thing.
So the baskets will be replenished is? the
Yes,
plan?
yeah, they're, I think the effectiveness of people taking them home is, they just can't keep up right now.
Hmm.
That will eventually,
Yeah, sure.
once people,
Great.
I know, that's great.
I took one. We got teenagers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
You never know.
always just.
Right.
Well, if you get up in the morning, you give yourself a shot just to make sure you know how to work the plunger.
In
Eyes pop right up.
From my understanding, let's say you think someone is having an issue and it's not, no harm, that it's not gonna cause any harm.
Right.
So if to use it when, which is reassuring.
Now, that, I would assume you're gonna put some on the vans too, right?
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
That's a
Oh,
great
good
idea.
idea.
Bob have one on the,
Yeah.
yeah, thank you. That's a good idea. Actually did not think of that.
And he doesn't need any training.
Oh, no, he does not. He does not. He's great. Okay, so July programming, I know some of this is repetitive, but there's still room for our silk scarf making class on the 15th, Dementia Live, the 22nd, and the movie. We are happy to announce that Edna Fadigan, 99 years old, has signed up for the Recollections program. I'm thrilled. She's wonderful. She's one of our older attendees that comes in regularly. I think that's going to be great. She's a longtime knitting instructor and a true source of inspiration. So I'm looking forward to hopefully she'll share her story with us too, once it's recorded. As
Sign up, did Nancy?
no, I know. I'm gonna talk to Anna about that again and see
Yeah.
if she could, that'd be great. Yeah, that'd be great. Some people are shy about being on
Oh,
camera,
not yet.
or being filmed. It's a,
When Anna did it, Nancy sat behind her and every time Nancy said something, she disagreed with Nancy go.
oh, I love it. I love it.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah, that's great.
How old is Nancy now?
99.
Nancy is?
She'll be 100.
She'll be 100 in October.
October.
And they're doing a birthday party for her in 2 weeks.
Great.
Oh,
Oh, my gosh.
Amazing.
and Edna's 99.
Yes.
Oh,
Makes you feel like a spring chicken.
oh, I tell you.
Younger every day.
So as you all know, there's no board meeting scheduled for August. We look forward to seeing you all September 9th. Another things are into summer cookout again is Tuesday, September 24th. Again, weather permitting and what's going on inside, we hope to either have it outside or a portion of it outside. Grandparents' Day celebration on September 8th. due to the both of the second Mondays in October, and November being on a holiday, just note the date changes of our board meetings. So they will be on the third Monday, October 21st and November 18th. Okay, both the second falls on a holiday. I have my second interview on Wednesday. This Wednesday with the selection committee. I'm told Chris will be there too. So I think because we're having it here, I think I'm second of, there's 3 interviews over 2 days, and I think I'm number 2 in the sequence.
So
Well,
I
I
have, let's see, you, yeah, yes, you are number 2 and, number 3 is on Thursday morning.
Yes. I was hoping to be last, but I couldn't do anything about that. Hopefully
I think it's,
my interview will linger on till,
well, I think it's good that this is taking so long. I know that you don't appreciate that, but it implies to me that there's no activity going on in the background. So
Yeah.
that's good.
I thought a lot about this, and it's an important job.
Yeah.
Right. Nobody's entitled to it, even though I've been doing it for 7 months and I've been in elder affairs for almost a decade. I'm not, so I just keep reminding myself of that. It's nothing personal. So that's how I feel. So I'm gonna go in and give it my best shot.
Well, are we gonna, Paul, have you heard, are we gonna get involved in any interviewing?
I'm on the interview committee,
Okay,
so I will be at the interviews.
okay.
Right.
So that's kind of where we are so far. I mean, the process had worked out very well, the way that Megan had put it together. So there was, a high number of applicants, and then they screened the applicants for those they felt best fit the description of what the town wanted to see in a director, and narrowed it down to 3 people. In the process, of the board received surveys about what we would like to see, not in the person of a director, but what we want to see here at Elder Affairs, kind of moving forward.
Did everybody
so it's-
respond to that survey?
I did.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Thanks.
and then
reluctantly.
they sat down and they interviewed with the staff to ask them questions about their thoughts on Elder Affairs. All of these were not specific to any person, more of, where are we today? Where would you like to see us go? Or, what would you like to change kind of questions? So those all went very well. So I was happy to see that, Megan was kind of reaching out to folks in other areas, not just listening to, people stopping the town manager at the farmer's market saying, hey, pick this person or pick that person. So it's very helpful to have those surveys and have those interviews to kind of gauge where the thought process should lead you.
Good, good.
I know the team was really appreciative of their being asked their feedback.
Yeah.
It was really
Yeah.
important.
Yeah,
Good.
I know they all
The team
conveyed,
here?
yes,
Yeah.
our
Yeah.
team, the team.
well, it's good they weren't overlooked.
I was out, obviously I wasn't here, so they could talk freely, which it's important,
Oh, you should have.
very,
heard.
very
Oh.
important. So I know that went a long way, so.
Before you get into the numbers, where are we on the HVAC?
I'm told the last time I talked to Megan, she said September, but nothing's official. I don't have anything official.
But I mean, as far as shutting down.
I think we have to identify when they're coming in first, and she
And
thinks
what they
September.
need to shut down. right?
They don't know, we won't know.
Okay.
We won't know. I did speak to facilities. I did speak to Nick, and he was reassuring. I think I had sent out that email that
Yeah.
they're hoping to do it a piece at a time. But he said, they take on these big projects often with the schools. It's not unfamiliar. Schools can't just
sure,
shut down.
sure.
So he's gonna communicate along the way what they're doing, and then we might have to move some stuff around. But he said they have a process where, they'll let me know ahead
Good,
of time.
Good.
I don't know where they are in the bidding process. I'm waiting to hear. The last I heard is September, though. So they can't wait too long into the, it has to be soon before the winter. So, Paul, have you heard anything about that HVAC?
No, it's just getting rescheduled out because of, the various subcontractors that they have to bring in and help set up, and everyone's schedule is probably running a little longer than usual. So it's no surprise that it got pushed to September. But I can tell you here in my facility, we had no air conditioning last year in the month of August. And
Oh.
but
Oh.
by the
Holiday
time
routine.
I know. So by the time the machine rolled around, and they put a new one on the roof, it literally, was about, I don't know, 6 or 8 hours before they, took the old one off and put the new one up on the roof and then connected it. And the next day we had cold air. And then, they spent the rest of their time, working on cleaning up and, reconnecting old parts to new parts, that kind of thing, which, we didn't have any effect of. So I suspect it'll be similar, if they're taking the unit off the roof and putting a new, just a crane that's gonna come in and do that. But if it's, I don't know how intrusive it is to the interior, but most of it is just forced hot air or forced cold air that they're working on. So the ductwork and interiors stuff shouldn't be a problem.
That's what Nick conveyed to me. They're not replacing the ductwork. That's the real
Yeah.
invasive. They're more the mechanics, so,
Well, good.
so hopefully it won't be too much of a problem. Okay, so CEA for the numbers, we provide services, activities and outreach to 403 individuals, resulting in 1,704 repeat visits. That's a good number. It's a 4.23% increase in overall visits from last month. You don't see the big jumps in the summer for the obvious
Yeah.
reasons. The website traffic went up dramatically, went up 50%. Richie and I have an IT look into that. I don't know whether they did an update. But that's a high number in 1 month for our website to go up. So hopefully it is true. I have been directing people more to the website. We'll see what they say. Transportation, we provided 201 rides to 23 riders. Although the number of overall rides went down from 213 last month, the number of riders went up from 19 to 23, a 21% increase. We had 2 people that were frequenting physical therapy, which takes 3 rides a week, come off of their physical therapy, and that's the reason for that. 134 of the rides were for miscellaneous purposes, shopping and et cetera, and 67 were for medical. The electric car was used by 12 riders, which is an increase from 7 riders last month, a 71% increase. So the electric car got a lot of use.
Now,
last month.
with the new Honda, the new
Mhm.
Honda, are you still gonna be using the electric car?
Yeah, the electrical car we use a lot for the medical rides.
But I thought that's what we're gonna use the new Honda for too.
The new Honda is gonna be for our grocery shopping.
Oh, okay.
Many things, not just grocery shopping around town, depending on who's on the van. Individual medical rides, I know Richie used it to deliver Meals on Wheels the other day.
Oh,
Yeah, it all depends on who's riding the vehicle, what their mobility is, where they're going. So it's nice to have that option,
Yeah.
rather than taking the big van to take 2 people to Stop and Shop. Right, so as Bob talked about, so it's it's fluid. But yeah, if we need to take it for a medical ride, absolutely. If
now, last month you talked about Shine needing more people.
for Shine.
I don't know if it's Shine, the
Fish,
fish.
Fish,
Yeah,
yes.
Close enough.
Yes, fish.
Yeah. So where are we on that?
I'll have to check with Liza on that. She's the volunteer coordinator. She did just text me to ask Diana to talk to you on your way out, so I think, because you are a fish driver, right? So, that she must have something in mind for you. We're working on that. We promote it in the newsletter that we're always looking for volunteers. So that ebbs and flows, but if you know of anybody.
Well, I mean, I had an issue when I tried it for a couple of days and I got no calls. And I brought up about having some sort of minimal volunteer hours, even if you don't get called, because now we're gonna, one of the things we're gonna talk about is the senior tax write-off, so we're gonna need some volunteer positions. But if somebody's gonna dedicate a whole day, I think they should be able to get credit for something. Now, is that Liza again?
Lies again, and I agree with that 100% about if you're gonna dedicate your time. In the past, our medical drivers, could work, our van drivers could work up to 15. If they came in and the appointment was canceled, they go home and not get paid. We changed that. We recently changed it. Yeah, cried a minute. You're making yourself available.
Right.
I totally agree. Time is valuable. Yeah, but I will discuss with Liza going forward about that, especially if the tax work off, program is, because it's not the person's fault that the
No,
appointment got
no.
canceled. I agree 100%.
Okay,
Yeah,
any
yeah.
questions on the director's report?
Move to accept.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Ayes carry. Okay. We pretty much beat up the subcommittee reports. We're all set on a pergola. And we'll obviously get more reports. And the
I do,
vans
I
look
do,
like-
I do want to have one update to one of your
Okay.
earlier comments. I did go to the website for the town of Cohasset for the select board meeting tomorrow night, Tuesday
Yep.
night at 6 p.m. And they're going into executive session at 6, come out at 7. And then they don't have anything on here about approving any of the committees. Yeah, so they have a FY24 year-end transfer that's usually funding, town manager update, license and permits for stuff. There is one thing that the board should probably know about that's on the agenda at 7:50, and that is the relocation for voting. This Cohasset State primary September 3rd and the presidential election November 5th. They're looking to have it at the Parish Center at St. Anthony's,
Oh, indeed.
at
Right.
10
Good,
Summer Street.
good. Well, that's nice to
But
hear.
you want to make sure that the select board approve that.
Yeah,
More than anything else. So that's on their agenda for tomorrow. I don't see anything on there about board and committee selections or approvals.
I'm just looking up Tracy's note.
Yeah, but she told me the 9th as well. I did talk to the town clerk. And she said that they have a provision that allows us to stay on the boards and continue board meetings until the select board approve the new committee members. So you can continue having meetings and you can continue to vote, even if your time expired June 30. So,
And also the new associate. And that's pretty much what I was after, is whether or not that was gonna be approved. I don't know if that'll come up tomorrow, even though it's not on the agenda. But since we don't meet until September, that gives them another month anyway.
Right.
right, yeah.
Always come, right?
I wanna hold off on that until the selectmen go through there. I wanna follow procedure. So,
I mean,
Oh, wait
as
a minute. Hold on, there's a I stand
Anybody
corrected there.
can-
There's a second page to it. There is, I'm sorry. At 8 o'clock at night, they're going to be doing Cohasset Elder Affairs Board appointments.
oh, good, great.
So-
Good.
Yep, okay, so there is there's two pages to the agenda, sorry about that.
No worries, that's good to hear.
Yeah, I got to the relocation of voting, I got excited.
bottom line on that.
Right.
Right, so that'll be there at 8:10 PM is where they have Board of Register, Preservation, Elder Affairs, fence viewer, election workers, and a couple of other ones, so yeah,
Well, I'm glad to hear our message was heard.
yes,
And our suggestion about St. Anthony's too. So it's nice that. Good. That's terrific.
exactly, yep, so not sure the town manager will be there tomorrow night, but we'll see.
Oh,
We are being recorded. Okay, well, that's terrific news. As promised, I said we would hold off until July before we started discussing the senior tax work-off. And it is July, so I'd like to put together a subcommittee to work on that. And what I want to do is make sure that we're ready by early April. So it can be submitted properly to the town. So I'm looking for volunteers. I've already asked Marcia. Does anyone else like to volunteer? Because what we're gonna have to do is go out, what I'd like to do is go out to the other towns that are doing this, because we're very late in this whole operation of senior tax work-off. To go out with other towns and see, mostly on their web pages, to see what they're doing about this. And so, again, I'm looking for other volunteers. Probably
You're gonna
something-
have to put it together if you want it on the warrant, probably by February is the latest. I think they start placeholding for the warrant for the town meeting in May.
Okay. So who
So
would
even
like
if you
to
just have a
participate?
paragraph and a placeholder, you don't have to have the final details, as long as you just submit a paragraph that says, you know, senior tax write-off, and submit it in January, February, then you'll have it a placeholder on the warrant, then you can fill in the details as you get closer.
Did you ever get any feedback as to why it was rejected when you proposed it?
We did, you know, I'll go through my files here just to see what we tried to do. It was primarily, rejected, by the, town manager, at the time. Basically felt that, we were just still over, on Main Street at the community center. And, there was not, a system in place at town hall to be able to track any of the hours and how to process what we thought was the work that we were doing. We looked to Hingham and a couple of other towns to see how they do it, and it was really driven by higher volume of people. Now the volume of people, it's got to be more than two kind of thing for the town of Cohasset to want to set up a whole system and implement it. And we, at the time, didn't have anyone who really wanted to participate. So a big downfall was there was no one really interested in doing it, participating in the tax write-off. And part of that reason, though, is we didn't have a menu to hand people to say, hey, would you like to work, you know, 5 hours here, 10 hours here at these different things that we do? And in return, you know, you'll be able to get a tax credit or have your taxes lowered. So it was really the way to really get it going is to show people, if you were to work at the library for 5 hours a week, or if you help out at rec camp 2 hours a week, or if you're, you know, at town hall or elder affairs or wherever those are, you need to identify those to say to people, hey, look, this is what we're looking for. This is where we need services. And in exchange, you get a tax credit. So, and it means a lot, not just to the people who want to participate, but it really identifies to the employees of the town, here's where we can put additional help that you may need throughout the course of the year. You know, let's face it, you know, when it comes time to voting, they got to spend a lot of extra hours, you know, weeks in advance, putting together the warrant and the article. They need to spend a lot of hours, you know, months in advance. So are the people that can help them with administrative work and physical work as well. So that's a big part of it is identifying what the services are that we really need to fill, and then going ahead with the program.
Oh, I agree. I mean, I think one good thing is the town cut their teeth with the Valor Act. So
Yeah.
a lot of that is established now. The big problem is positions, you know, and so that's why I'd like to see what other towns have done and what type of volunteer work they've been able to produce and what help that's been to the local towns. So far it's me and Marcia. Does anybody else want to do this? Senior tax work off? Boy, let me go back to that preamble.
Hey, do you get credit for working on the committee?
Absolutely.
No, there, in May minutes, it says a subcommittee was formed, including Paul Cares, Bob Sylvia, and Rich Hines for the senior tax write-off. So we did have
Really?
that in, yeah, the May minutes.
Yeah.
Good.
I remember
resigned
we.
then.
No, but I do
Helena.
remember that was.
What,
just as-
what'd I do?
I thought we agreed to hold off till July.
Well, then the second sentence is the issue has been tabled until the July
Okay.
meeting. But it says the subcommittee was formed, whatever, it doesn't matter. But
Well-
as I recall too on that comment about why it didn't go forward. 8 years ago, 6 years ago, whatever that was, the town collector at the time, whose name I can't recall, she was great.
Yeah.
Curran, last name maybe, I don't know. She had worked on, for another town, and they had that program in place, and she said it was a bust. She had no interest in pursuing it, and it's a cost benefit decision. If we have two people, if this program's gonna work, I think we have to have a crew and say, okay, town,
Well,
these are the people who are interested in participating before they'll even.
well, when we did the Valor Act, we had that in mind and we set a limit. To
A limit.
start with, yeah. In
limit
other
of
words,
what?
income was not an issue,
Oh, no.
but
this
it
is
was
the
a
number.
maximum, but yeah, and we had a
Oh.
maximum of 10 veterans that
But
could
she's talking about a
qualify.
minimum number.
I know, and so I'm saying we put a maximum on it as opposed to a minimum. Because we didn't want 100 people getting involved in
Right.
this. But that's what I wanted to have us, or whoever's on the committee, subcommittee, find out from other towns, what they've got, what kind of programs they set up, how many volunteers they have. Resistance to having volunteer positions in town, because I ran into a lot of resistance from certain departments.
Right.
Again, because they didn't want to affect overtime or anything else.
Yep.
But we have several towns that are doing this now, so we've moved forward to the point of sitting on our hands to the fact that now that we've be able to get some real data, what other people do. And maybe at the end, we'll decide it's not worth it,
Right.
but we don't know
Worth
yet.
looking at, for
Yeah.
sure. Mhm.
And I appreciate Paul, but I think he's involved in too many subcommittees, plus other committees.
Yeah, I'm up here at work, but the key is going to these centers in person and meeting with somebody and asking them those direct questions.
Yeah.
Really sitting down with somebody there that's the coordinators for all of these programs and asking
Right.
them, how many people, how hard is it? What's the turnover too? I mean, some people will do it for maybe a year and then say, forget it. So
And
you
then
want to see what it is, yeah.
you've got another downside that I worked in the Valor Act, in that people volunteer and then don't show up.
Yeah.
So how do you handle that? If the department's actually depending on that service and the people don't come? So there's a lot of the fact that we did go through the Valor Act, that puts a lot of experience with the town already. And part of the problem is getting volunteer positions. There's a couple here and a couple at the library, and that's it so far.
How many veterans?
Are you in it now?
Mhm.
You were approved?
Right.
I think there's 3.
Huh.
And,
That has no income limitation on it, does it?
right, it will if
Whereas
we
this
get
will.
over 10.
Yeah.
Up to 10, there's no income, then after that, we start going through and by need.
Yeah.
So somebody who say does it for a couple of years, but they have excessive income, when we get to the point that we've got 11 people applying, then that person would drop off the list.
Yep.
So at least that's the way we set it up.
Yep.
But since we only have 3, it hasn't been an issue.
I would recommend reaching out to Hingham. Hingham did. they
Well,
have
there's
3
plenty.
times the
We have,
population. Yeah.
I've gone through a couple of these, and Rockland has it, Hingham, Situate, Randolph, Norwell, and Antelope. And some like Hanover's had it, I guess, for quite a few years. So there is a lot of opportunity to learn what other people did, and more to the fact of not only setting up our program, but how to deal with the town, how to deal with the Board of Selectmen to make it attractive to them, so. So it's me and Masha. That's where we stand. Nobody else?
I just have a question.
Sure.
In the rudimentary exploring that you've done, was there any mention of problems with town employees who would have liked that work as overtime?
Not as overtime, but as the same type of deal, a tax
Oh,
write-off.
okay, all right,
And that's one of the questions that we'd have to answer.
yeah,
whether or not we would consider that, because I think some towns do and some towns don't.
Yeah.
And we're very exclusive. They made it very clear in their programs.
From my experience in Hingham and here, it's, most towns don't like to pay overtime. I mean, facilities is necessary.
know, and that-
Yeah, so they would
It's the
rather,
unions. You've got
Yeah.
to, fire department, police department. The
So-
unions you've got to be concerned about.
so it's not something we're used to. You know, when I was now, you're not used to getting it. So if you see a tax work off person come in, you don't feel like something's being taken away because it's not usually something that is available.
Oh, if it
anyway.
is, okay,
You see what I'm saying? Yeah.
yeah.
Because
Because I worked at a place once where that became a big issue. There were people who were limited. They're called permanent part-time people. In other words, they could work 20 or 25 hours a week. This was back in when the dinosaurs were walking around, and
They're still walking, by the way. That's still the current program.
and they wouldn't give their own people, but they could call people in from an agency to do things at Christmas time and stuff. And we'd like to do it for the extra money. And they said, no, we couldn't do it because then you'd have to be permanent and you hours would get, and that kind of stuff. So anyway, I just didn't know.
Well,
if
that's
that
part of
was
the
an
program. That's why I want to walk it through from other towns and see their experiences like that. Because again, some won't allow any town employee to participate
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
the senior tax work off.
Mhm.
Some do.
am I allowed to be on the committee? In my role here, or could I be an
Wow.
advisory?
Well,
I'm
I mean,
not
a
I
lot
don't-
of them go to you
Yeah,
as well.
so,
I'm not sure how that works.
yeah, so you're a town employee.
Not a
I don't,
member of the
I don't
board.
believe so, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Well, I'm
I
here
mean,
to
you'll
offer any-
certainly have to participate, but I mean, as far as the
I could be a
research.
consultant and help
Yeah.
out, and I still have a lot of contacts in Hingham. I worked in the same office with the woman who ran the program. It was the outreach coordinator there.
Yeah,
And tracked all the
and well,
hours.
most of it's gonna fall here anyway.
Yes. And she supervised the individuals, because sometimes things did come up. People were fitted in positions that maybe wasn't the best for them or best for the department.
Yeah.
But so I would love to be a resource in any way.
Another
You
piece of
can-
this,
You can certainly help and make calls and do all
Yeah.
of that stuff, yeah.
especially where you have contacts,
Mhm.
Yeah.
because that'd be one of the major contacts would be elder affairs in each one of these towns, because that's where the responsibility is gonna end up at the end. But again, we want to be careful that we're not putting too much on the table, that you'd have to go out and hire somebody to do this, so we gotta balance it. And again, if we only have 2 people that are interested in doing it, it's certainly not worth getting too intense on it as far as a financial commitment.
And I think, the word will spread. I think people are reluctant at first, anything new, but then they find out their neighbor's doing it.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
so, I wouldn't, if the low numbers initially, I wouldn't dissuade. I would, because it will grow.
Hmm.
Once people, what are
But
they
that's
gonna?
why the
Yeah,
upper
yeah.
limit is my
Yeah,
concern.
it will grow.
And many, even on the Valor Act, I hate to keep bringing that up because they are totally separate. But I've had plenty of veterans ask me about it, get all excited and never put in an application. So,
Well, then when I read this stuff, you get paid minimum wage and they take taxes out of it.
they take federal
And
tax,
federal
not state tax,
Right. And the maximum
$1,500.
$1,500. I don't know if it's worth it.
It is a little cumbersome.
It's
Yeah.
very
It's not an
cumbersome.
easy process and I don't know. There's something that leaves a sour taste in my mouth about, oh, we want to
It
express our
sounds
appreciation
like
of veterans, but you're gonna have to do this and then you're gonna have to do that and you're gonna have to pay taxes and you're gonna.
Yeah,
Enough already.
yeah.
It's
It
a mixed
sounds like a
bag.
great idea, but when you really
Yeah,
get
when you get into the
it, it's like,
details,
really?
it's
Is
a
it
little
worth
Well, it's a
it?
cost benefit.
It's
And it
still
will
worth it to
be worth
me,
it for
but
some.
Might not be to other people.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're gonna do the volunteer work anyway.
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
Well,
Well,
that's.
Exactly, it's
That's
That's
what it
probably
is.
the only reason I signed up for it, because I'm
Right.
already spending.
Yeah.
Well,
Time.
one of the things I do is shelve books at the library and I absolutely love that.
Mhm,
I've already met my 100 hours
right.
for the year and it doesn't run out until November. But I enjoy putting my headphones on, shelving books, not having to talk to anybody, and the air conditioning is terrific.
People person.
Right, evidently.
Where can I find this book? Talk to a librarian.
Excuse me.
All right. It looks like Marcia and I, unless you want to participate, Paul.
Well, maybe Bob signed up before, so we should check.
Maybe.
you should
Well,
check.
I can help out when we get down to the town hall part,
Okay,
you
okay.
know, getting a structure in place, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah, if we get to that
If we
point.
get
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
And if it gets legs, I'll revisit coming.
You don't want to form the legs, create the legs?
I'm trying to do legs on the pergola.
That's what I mean. I want to stay away. So,
Good deal.
ladies, any interest?
I think it is.
No interest. Okay. All right, Marcia, it's you and me for now. Maybe April was too
Check
soon to
with
shoot
Bob,
for this.
'cause well, he's in the minutes as being on the committee.
But I don't think he was given, was he?
No,
Okay.
I don't, no, he was on the minutes for the van,
Yeah, I think that was the van
the
committee.
van. Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought we,
Right, no, but it
Did I make it
specifically
up?
says, no, I remember
Yeah.
that you said us, it said it in the minutes. I read, that's why I just went back to look at them.
all right, welcome David Bigley.
Yep. Cool.
Okay, fair enough.
Exactly. David will be, he'll throw them.
Well, he's interested, he's excited, so we'll see. Okay, we're down to any other input to the board. Anybody have anything?
Any suggestions this month?
Oh. Suggestion box, I have lots of suggestions, no, in the suggestions box, no. I know, I'm gonna write about that in one of my columns. I think people have forgotten
Oh,
it
that's a
there.
good idea.
Yeah, just a reminder, we want your suggestions, so.
Someone mentioned this
Make sure the
morning.
suggestion box doesn't get mixed up with the mailbox.
That's right.
That's true. At breakfast this morning, someone said, I know I should know who you are. We need name tags, and that has come up before.
Oh, yes.
And I don't know. I've thought about an easy. I don't know how it would work, but I've had the same feeling.
Yeah.
I've sat at a table with this person and I've been introduced. I don't remember who they are.
Even if it's just out on the table,
Yep.
pins
Yeah.
and stick.
Yeah, stick,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
right.
and-
Oh, my name is.
and
Yeah.
we can make some available that are reusable, you know,
No,
that
I-
people wanna
I-
leave in their bag and put, you know, and then.
I think it's better at the, you know, to
Yeah,
do it live,
We'll
like you say.
do both, stickers, I,
Low key. You
Yeah.
can, you don't have to.
Yeah.
You can. and-
What's your name? Oh,
Right.
okay.
I know it is, it can
Write it
get
down.
so awkward after you've met someone
It is.
20 times.
That's right, especially when you're trying to introduce them to
Yeah,
somebody.
right.
new.
It's right on the tip of your tongue. No, that's a
What's that
great, that's a
commercial
great.
on TV for,
population.
remember things? Oh, it's Fran,
Well, you
Sam, and then, oh, Fred, yeah. So,
All right, that's an
know
easy
each other.
switch. Yeah, Masha, thank you.
Okay,
All right.
all right, our next meeting is now in September. And
September, what is that date?
I think it's,
Nine.
is it the 9th? Yeah, September 9th.
There'll be
One
a
of
new
those.
director at that time, so.
Oh, yes, in
When are you
place.
dragging their feet?
Well,
Wouldn't
maybe
count
a
on that.
different director or a new
Or,
director.
well, there'll be
or
a different, yeah.
A
there'll be A
director.
director.
An official.
An official director, I should
Title.
say,
But if it works out, it'd be nice to have it in pergola.
Oh, we had to do pergola.
Yeah, no, to have our meeting.
Oh,
our
yes,
September
oh, under
meeting
the
in
pergola, yes, yes, yes.
Just so we can,
Yeah.
that would be nice. So. Now breakfast could be delivered. It's a
And I
short
think we
walk.
should, I think we should celebrate.
Yeah.
I think we may
Talk to
do a
Joan.
celebration in
That's right.
September.
Talk to Joan about
Hopefully.
that.
So it will
Show
be,
us
the
your-
next meeting is September 9th, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Correct.
because the first Monday is Labor Day.
Yeah. And then we gotta, oh,
So we're not going to do the third for that, was that
No,
what?
that
That's
was October, November.
November,
Okay,
because both second Mondays are a holiday for both of
oh,
them.
the second Monday, so,
Yeah.
got it.
and I think, you know, as you vote this year, anybody you see, congratulate them on their smart move to move it to St. Anthony's.
Yes,
That's
Yeah.
terrific.
Yeah,
Okay.
thank the pastor. He makes Father Scott makes those decisions, so.
Well, I'm sure it was financially appreciated by him.
I,
'Cause it,
I-
you know,
I would hope so.
yeah. So. Okay, folks, we'll see you in September.
awesome.
Okay, great.
Oh, I'm sorry, I should ask.
I
Should
move.
get a motion.
During the meeting.
Second, all in favor?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? See you in September. Okay, terrific.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Paul.
Take care.
Bye, Paul.
Bye, Paul.
Is the town's